when it comes to makeup, right? So you did touch on how some of the makeup increases estrogen,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And is there another alternative? Some women just don't want to be all natural
Yeah,
for whatever
yeah.
reason,
There's nothing wrong with that.
So is there an alternative that you know about that you can share for ladies who are looking to still, kind of have the best of both worlds?
Yeah. Well, I will say I need to do better with that in terms of brands because I know that there are definitely some black brands out there that have makeup that are made from natural ingredients.
Hmm.
But that's what I would encourage. Find companies out there that have natural ingredients, no phthalates. Okay, phthalates is spelled with a PTH. No parabens. So when you're looking at the ingredients, make sure they don't have those too, because on average, women over the course of a year, and I would say even more so now because women wear like way more makeup now. Uh, they consume that makeup adds about 10 pounds of toxins to their body, and your face absorbs everything. Like this is one of the most absorbable places on your body
Makeup adds about 10 pounds of toxins
over the
in your
course
body.
over the course of a year.
Holy hell.
Yeah.
And they be talking about they got this WAP. It's really toxic. I'm, like, I'm just,
Well, that's
because
part.
it has to come out somehow.
That's part of like why infertility is so high right now.
Mm,
Again, like a lot of people aren't having these conversations, but because when somebody is trying to have a baby and they can't, and they tried the medical route and it didn't work, and now it's me. I get to have those conversations, and so many people are having so many issues around this. They can't point to why. The doctors can't explain to them why, but when you start to see, think about the amount of toxins people are adding through their food, they're adding through their makeup, the air, the water that's coming into the house, the flame retardants that's in, furniture. You start to compound all these things. What people don't realize is that they test these chemicals, but they test them over a course of 6 weeks. They don't test them over the course of years, which is what's happening because you're adding them to your body every day.
yeah.
And they don't test, they test them individually. They don't test all of them together. All of these compounds coming in from everywhere. And they don't test the bioaccumulation of these toxins as they're accumulating in your body. So I have a 14-day and a 28-day detox, and that's the absolute best way to, because herbs were made for the healing of the body. I know you've heard that before, right? And they're made for healing, okay? To heal the body once it's unhealed, okay? And the reason why it works that way is because, as I told you before, the body is designed to heal itself. But what happens is it becomes so toxic, it can't do the work. So that's why herbs are made to do that. So that's one of the primary ways you can do it. But the other way is to make sure that you have a very healthy diet and lifestyle. Okay. I'm using both of them because you can't just eat healthy and then think unhealthy. You see what I'm saying? And not be active. So you have to have a healthy diet and a healthy lifestyle. And that's going to help you cleanse the body. But I'll tell you, like what I've seen with a lot of people who are even like vegan or plant based, they get a lot of health by going plant based. And then once they start detoxing and getting these toxins out of the body, because we're talking about not only the things I talked about, we're talking about heavy metals,
Yeah.
cadmium, lead, mercury. And a lot of people have those fillings in their mouth. That mercury is coming out into the body. You understand? And it does not come out with just food.
I got a whole bond.
You got to get it out. And so, like, that's why I tell people is like, like these things have accumulative effects, but herbs are literally designed. Just start looking up herbs
Wait,
and
wait.
you'll see they pull toxins and heavy metals out of the body.
So for those that are, let's just say, for those who have feelings or
Yeah.
bonds, like I have a bond on my tooth right
Yeah.
now. Um, is there an alternative for that
Yes, you
without
need,
pulling tooth out?
no, you need to go to a holistic dentist,
Okay.
okay? And you need to have them substitute out that mercury filling for a composite resin, which is more of a natural resin that they put in there. It's going to be white, just like your tooth. but you need to have a holistic dentist do it because they do a certain technique that prevents you from swallowing any of the mercury that comes out, but also while they're drilling, a lot of those fumes while they're drilling are coming out into the body too. And so they have a technique to make sure none of that happens.
Bro, that you just saved my life.
Yeah, for sure.
You
And a
just saved
lot
my
of
life.
mercury leads to a lot of headaches. It leads to a lot of gut issues. It leads to a lot of depression, anxiety. And people could be going through a lot of this, and your doctor will never test you for heavy metals.
Hmm.
And you will never know. And you will be on Prozac or Celexa or something like that trying to cure your depression or your anxiety. You'll never be able to resolve it because the issue is the mercury. So it's always you have to go to the cause to get the cure.
So and I think a lot of people, we could touch on this briefly too. A lot of people think because they're um, prospectively fit, like or
Yeah.
perce- or
Cosmetically fit.
cosmetically fit, exactly. Like you look fit, you think you're really healthy.
Hmm.
And I remember like back when I was doing modeling, I used to get meal preps all the time, and I used to always get salmon, and by I would say 3 or 4 weeks of consistently having salmon because it
Yeah.
became like a thing that I needed.
Yeah.
I was having heartburn, chest pains,
I know why.
and it was like, was it the mercury? No.
It could be the mercury because most fish does have mercury in it,
Hmm.
but it's also going to kill me about this. But salmon also is filled with parasites. I want
Oh,
everybody to do this. You do this quick Google search: bears with parasites, and then put the word salmon. Okay, and you will see bears. I learned this when I went to Seattle, and then I went up to Vancouver, and you can see the bears like walking to collect to get the salmon out of the river,
hmm,
and this bear is walking, and you can see this like white string hanging out of the bear. So I asked the guy, "What is that?"
wow, I see it.
And
Yep.
he was like, "Oh, that's a tapeworm." I was like,
Oh
where did
my
they get
God.
this tapeworm from?" He was like, "Oh, they get it from the salmon." Well, where did the salmon get it from? Well, what happens is the salmon actually lay their eggs into the river, and then this parasite comes and infuses itself into the egg, and then the bear eats the eggs and eats the salmon, and that's how they end up with that parasite that is literally hanging out of their butt. That could be up to 35 feet.
That's wild. You know what? I actually watched a video where there's parasites in bees, a
Yeah,
wasp, and they were pulling it out the head, and
yeah,
it was longer than their body, or
yeah,
like the same size.
yeah, and controlling the bee,
Yep, and controlling the bee, and
and
they,
it does that with us too. Like with our cravings,
yeah,
like the reason why we have that sweet tooth at night,
like Coca Cola.
yes, is because the freaks come out at night. The parasites wake up at night. They're hungry. They they incentivize you. They tell you you want something sweet.